All right, welcome to Sports and Money. I'm your host, Ben Parker. If you're like me, you've been hearing a lot lately about fans and media alike asking for the NCAA to hand out death penalties to quite a few different programs, like the Louisville basketball program, the North Carolina basketball program, the Baylor football program, and even reaching a few years back, the Penn State football program as well. I want to talk today about why you're not seeing the death penalty for these teams and organizations and why you are increasingly unlikely to, and the answer simply is money. You see where it starts with fans as they begin to give money to advertisers. That can be Coke, Gatorade, can be Wachovia, any kind of a brand that's going to advertise on TV. Advertisers give a tremendous amount of money, of course. This is a huge amount of money that advertisers give to TV. TV in turn, TV being CBS, ESPN, those guys pay a lot of money to the NCAA and to the individual conferences. By conferences, we're talking about the Big 12, the ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, the Pac-12, the TV groups. They give a tremendous amount of money both to the NCAA and to the conferences. Now, the money from there begins to whittle down to the teams. That'll be Duke, North Carolina, even the small ones such as Rutgers, Southern Methodist, and Baylor. That money, in turn, is used to fund not only the basketball and football program at colleges and universities. It's also used to fund a ton of other athletic programs on campus, and even sometimes that money makes its way out into other buildings and other salaries spread around college campuses and universities. Now, what do fans get in return for that? They get happiness of some sort. They get to watch their team play, they get to watch their team win if there's a successful enough program, and that's really what the fans get out of it. If there's enough eyeballs watching, if enough eyeballs are watching ESPN, CBS, NBC, whoever is broadcasting particular games at the time, if there's enough fans watching, then they will continue to funnel money to the advertisers. They're buying the products, they're seeing the products on TV, they're buying those products. The advertisers in turn know that. They continue to put that money in. So there's a tremendous amount of money flowing here, and as long as that money is flowing, then everybody is happy. But what happens when you begin to eliminate a successful program, a highly visible program, say for instance the North Carolina basketball program? We've heard a lot of people asking, and in some circles, for the death penalty for them due to the academic stuff that they have been alleged to have been involved in. Now, a lot of that has really gone away after the recent investigation by the NCAA and the things they came up with. A lot of that has really kind of disappeared. But while the investigation was still going on, in theory, a lot of people were asking for the death penalty for the North Carolina Tar Heel basketball program. Now, what if that were to really happen? If the North Carolina program were to shut down for a year and then to be under suspensions and probation and scholarship reductions for years after that? You can imagine if they weren't allowed to be on TV, or if they were allowed to be on TV but were not eligible for postseason play, what that would begin to do. Not only would North Carolina fans not have as much of a reason to watch the games on TV, but even casual sports fans in general are less likely to watch because a big brand name like North Carolina simply isn't involved. If you begin to do that to enough programs, like the Louisville basketball program, like a high-flying, at the time, high-flying Baylor football program, or at the time, and still is, a very successful Penn State program, if you have enough of these high-flying, very high-profile programs cut out, not allowed to play for a year, or even have their scholarships reduced, or their TV time reduced, or their postseason play reduced, if you have that happen enough, then the number of fans that are tuning into these events are going to go down. That could be the college football playoff, it can be the NCAA tournament. These are both high revenue events that produce a lot of money, not just for the NCAA, but for TV, for the advertisers, for the conferences, for the teams. So this is not just an NCAA decision. They've got several partners that they're involved with, and that begins with the ESPNs, the CBSs, the NBCs of the world. They in turn have their partners that they're involved with, and that is the advertisers, and that can be anybody from somebody as big as Gatorade and Powerade to any of the smaller advertisers like to put on. You also have the conferences that are involved with this, the teams as well. So as long as the money's flowing, everybody's happy. If you start to eliminate some of the high-profile teams like North Carolina, like Louisville, like Penn State, visibility goes down, fan interest goes down, and that means the money goes down. The advertisers know if there's not as many people watching, their money is not as well spent. They'll begin to reduce that amount of money, put it somewhere else like the NFL or Major League Baseball or whatever else it is that they feel like people are watching at the time. And that amount of money will go down. That means the TV will get less money, NCAA will get less money, conferences get less money. So that's the real reason why you're not likely to see the death penalty for these programs that we've discussed or any other program in the near future. There's just too much money at stake. There's too many partners involved, and really nobody, not even the fans, really ultimately want these programs knocked out. If you have a certain program that you're not a fan of and you want to see them get the death penalty, certainly we can understand that, but you're just not likely to see that. There's too many people involved here. This is a very large system. It involves a lot of people and a lot of money, and you're just not likely to see that. There's only one of two things that really would create this. If there were more government intervention, like the FBI investigations that we've had recently, if there were more government eyeballs on this, more people concerned about what some of these programs and universities are doing, then you might be more likely to see a death penalty. Don't think you're going to see that anytime soon. The government generally tends to let these groups rule themselves as long as they don't get too far out of hand. Also, if you were to see the head of the NCAA change, if you were to see somebody, I don't know, perhaps like a Jay Billis step in future decades, I don't know if he would ever be interested or not, but somebody like that who would really make major changes in the way the NCAA operates, could also deal with these other partners as well to try to clean up some of these things, but that is also unlikely anytime in the near future. So if you want to see the death penalty hit on a program, not likely to happen. Just enjoy watching what there is. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.